Hello.
Good evening.
Hi everybody.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome back to Sunday Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle.
Michelle. Hi everyone. Just going to wait for a few people to join. And we're doing these Satsangs now every second Sunday, not every Sunday, every second Sunday. And does that time with the movement of the moon?
No, not really.
Not really.
It depends on the month and what's happening.
Okay, well we just had a
new moon.
So now we're in the planting phase.
We are indeed, yeah.
So hello, if you're joining us for the first time, or if you're joining us on a repeat, if you could just type up your name to say hi in the comment section, because we can't always see who's joining us. And if you have any questions or comments for us, please type them up as we go, and we do sometimes get to read all of them, but we definitely get back to you afterwards. So if we don't answer your questions during the live satsang, then we do get back to you after. And also we have quite a storm coming through here tonight, so sometimes the internet gets a bit wobbly when we have storms. So it could drop, and if it does drop, just hang around and we'll get back to you again.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll sign up again.
If we can.
If we can, yes. Right, hello, who have we got there? We've got Paula. Hello, Paula. Hi, Paula.
Sharon. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. Hi.
I think I saw Claire there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, say hi to us and where you're from, so we know that we're not speaking into a vacuum. Yes, there's Claire. I thought it was, because on our screen it comes up with tiny little pictures.
Yeah, we can't actually see you, but when you type up your name, we can. And thank you. We love getting the hearts, so thank you for the hearts. Thank you. And tonight, the sort of focus of the satsang tonight is the door is open. Right. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Lisa. Hello. Hi, from Lisa. Italy.
Hi,
Jacqueline from Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. Yes. Just wait for a few more people. And then we shall get underway. Yeah, we've been having really weird weather lately.
Huge winds.
Big winds, huge winds. We're in the middle of the night. It feels like the roof is going to take off. But luckily it hasn't. Up to now. Up to now.
Hi, Sonia.
Yeah. Hey, Sonia. Yeah. The door is open. Which door? And what does that mean in our lives? Well, hang around and we'll tell you. We'll talk a bit about that tonight. Okay, so let's kick off. Hello, Evie.
Hi.
We've just been speaking to Evie on the phone. Slow connection.
Yeah, it is telling us that we have a slow connection. I think hi, helps. It's because of the wind.
I'm going to go and put the other modem on. I don't know if the other modem will be any faster.
Let me just stick to this.
Okay, all right. Yes. All right, let's start out this evening by centering ourselves into the here and now. The only place that's actually real is the here and now. And I know that most of us have probably had a busy weekend. Well, we've had a busy weekend.
We have.
And the mind sometimes gets strung out into stories about yesterday and tomorrow. And so a good idea in a satsang, which just means a gathering of wisdom, is to bring ourselves back into reality, which is this present moment, here and now. So we do that by centering ourselves in the physical body, in the here and now, in the physical body. And you might like to sit back, close your eyes, and just settle into the physical body. As I've said many times before, the physical body is a powerful portal into presence, because the physical body doesn't have the ability to time travel, unlike the mind. So closing our eyes, we focus on the physical body. And what we can do is become aware of our hands, where our hands are resting right now. Becoming aware of what it feels like to have the sensation of touch in the fingers. So just feel where the hands are resting right now. You might like to rub your thumb across your fingers and just feel the sensitivity of the fingertips. And there's a very good way of bringing you into the body. if you're ever stressed or anxious, you just do this. Feel your fingertips. And that drops your awareness down from the troubled mind into the physical body. Become aware of the chair that you're sitting on, or the bed that you're lying on. Become aware of the sensation that meets your body from the chair or the bed. And you might like to notice that a few moments ago you weren't aware of that sensation of the chair. But as you bring your awareness into the body, the awareness of that pressure comes into your prefrontal cortex of the brain, and you become aware of the sensations that the body is sending you right now. And that is a powerful portal. Become aware of your feet, where your feet are resting right now. Check in with your toes. I know they were there earlier, but have you not lost any in the traveling around today? Just check in with each of your toes. Just check that they're still there. Wiggle them a little bit. It's another way of drawing your attention from the mind with its propensity for drama back into the physical reality of here and now, and back into the body and down into the toes. Become aware of your shoulders now. You might like to give them a little shrug. Become aware of any tension that you're holding in your shoulders. Become aware of the back of the neck. Become aware of the scalp. Just consciously relax your forehead, your eyelids, your cheek muscles. Relax your tongue and your jaw. See that your tongue is resting behind the top front teeth, perhaps touching the top of the mouth, the palate. That's a good position for relaxation, for meditation. And bring your awareness now to the tip of the nose. Become aware of the soft and gentle in-breath and out-breath. Right now you're being breathed by the body. And the body's intelligence is what we call life. So right now in this moment you are being breathed by life. Such a privilege, such an honor to be inhabited with this most powerful and sacred energy called life. Now this energy that's breathing you is the same energy that's breathing all of us. We all breathe by the one life. And that one life animates the trees, the leaves, the grass, the birds, the fish, the animals, the insects, the beautiful flowers. It's one life. And it's choosing you right now as a vehicle for the expression of itself through you. And this life is not only breathing you gently in and out right now, it's also beating your heart. The beating of your heart is not your doing, it's life's doing. So life right now in this moment is gently breathing you. It's beating your heart. It may be digesting any food if you've eaten. And it's definitely transporting the oxygen from your lungs to every single one of the billions of cells in the body, moment to moment to moment. Cleansing, washing, and feeding the cells. And this happens whether you are awake or asleep. This intelligence, this energy, this presence called life is active in your body. your very own body. This intelligence called life wants you to live, and therefore it provides the mechanism of life. The breath, the beating of the heart, the digestion of food. And this intelligence right now is enabling you to hear, to listen. Listening is not a doing, it's an alignment with life, a being. What can you hear right now? What are you aware of through the faculty of sound, of listening? Just extend your awareness outside the body to your environment. And now become aware that you are aware of the sounds. You are the awareness that's aware of the chair that you're sitting on. You're the awareness that's aware of the breath at the end of your nose. The change in temperature between the in and the out breath. You are that awareness. So step back. Just for a moment, step back into full alignment with the awareness that you are. This awareness doesn't have a label, doesn't have a name, doesn't have a gender, doesn't have an age. It's just aware. Simply aware. And now, consciously, take a very deep breath into your body. And surrender that breath back out again by just dropping your shoulders even more and allowing the breath to just leave the body. And take another very deep breath into the body, this time drawing it right the way down into your solar plexus. Filling the whole body up and then releasing it. Just letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Right, let's take a very deep breath in now. Let's really fill the whole body by taking a very, very gigantic breath into the body and then releasing it. Just allowing it to go. Like the ebb and the flow of the ocean on the shore. Take another very deep breath in, right down to the toes this time and up to the top of the head. And then release it, just let it all go. Let it all go. Let's hand the breathing back over to this intelligence called life that is animating our body right now, allowing us to be conscious of this physical experience right now. Let's surrender not only the breath, but also the need to control the breath. And just allow this moment to be here exactly as it is. Allow the body to be here. Allow any thoughts in your mind just to float through your awareness. Don't try and control them or resist them. Maintaining the awareness of the awareness that you are in this moment. And take another very deep breath in, a slow, long, deep breath into your body. And an even longer, slow breath out, just releasing, just surrendering the breath. And gently, very gently, when you're ready, you may open your eyes and just see how you feel in this moment. You feel a bit quieter, a bit stiller, a bit more centered, a bit more present. You might like to type up in the comments section how you're feeling right now. Hello everyone who joined when my eyes were closed. Hello and welcome.
Hi Mariki and Hartmut.
Yeah. Hi.
See you here. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
With the blustery wind outside.
Yeah, we've got a lot of wind
Huge-
outside.
Huge wind here.
Yeah.
So just so that if you've just joined us, we do have a slow connection due to this big storm that's blowing outside. So if we disappear, it's because the connection's gone down.
And just hold on and we'll be back.
We will try and get back, yeah.
Yeah, we will get back if we can.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about...
Tonight the door is open. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's happening in the stars?
Well, we've had a new moon.
Yeah.
So that new moon was yesterday. And we would have felt it leading up to it. And it was also connected with the star Sirius, which is known as our spiritual sun. So most people have seen that from the 3rd to the 7th, which is today, of July, there's an opening. It's like a portal. And so I kind of see it as a heart opening portal. And it's quite profound because it doesn't happen every year. So every year the sun aligns with Sirius, but not the sun and the moon together. So the sun and the moon together are always a new start and opening a portal. So with it being aligned with Sirius, there's something new that's opening up. And I would say it's the heart center.
And the Sirius is our central sun? What is it?
It's our spiritual sun.
Spiritual sun, central sun. So maybe some new energy is coming into us right now. Maybe you can feel new life, new opportunities, new awarenesses. There's none in the comment section if you found any sort of influence from that portal over the last few days in your own life. Has anything opened up for you? Any new insights come to you? Be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's really time to let go of the old again. And obviously we often say that, but this is another chance, letting go of the old and opening to the new. So it's an opening time now, because now the moon starts to grow again. So it's an opening to the new, and it's like a flowering. That's the way I see it. So it's quite profound, and I think a lot of people have been feeling quite sensitized over the last couple of weeks. A lot of family issues have come up, a lot of deep old past issues have come up with all the energy in Cancer and the sign of Cancer. So just it's a sensitive time with a whole lot of other alignments that are around as well.
Emotions be running high.
Yeah.
People will be
Ups
feeling
and
things,
downs.
and perhaps from old patterns and old past
Family,
situations.
home, family, home, security issues, trust issues. Those things can also come up, but they're coming up for clearing, for feeling and for clearing. Yeah.
Not for understanding necessarily,
just for feeling.
Because quite often people want to understand their emotions, and that's not the good way of dealing with emotions. Emotions are there to be felt, not understood. So it's just to feel that, and to feel it in the body, not the head. Emotions are not in the head, they're in the body. So it's to drop down into the body, the practice that we did in the opening meditation. You drop down into the body and you feel what needs to be felt in the body at this time.
Yeah. And using the breath as an anchor really helps to do that. So, yeah, I've been dealing with
old behavior patterns. Yeah, that's definitely playing up. Yeah.
I know, just in talking to people over the last few days, old patterns sort of, but I thought I'd done that. I thought I'd sorted that out, or I thought I'd healed that old familiar family thing. Has come up again.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that you haven't done something right. It's just that it's coming up for clearing. So that brings it into our awareness, and then we can actually feel our way through it, and in so doing we're actually able to clear it. This is part of a much bigger cycle, because we have a planet called Neptune, which is our connecting planet. Neptune is the king of the ocean, and Neptune it's got a 165-year cycle, and it's right at the end of that 165-year cycle. So there is a lot of clearing in a broader sense as well. It's not just the month and the new moon. It's a lot of clearing.
So that would be the energy of water again, emotion, more emotions being felt, and
forgiving.
Just to treat emotions like waves. They wash through you. Don't hold on to them. You don't try and control them or direct them. You just allow them to wash through. It's the allowing that opens us. It's the allowing. And just allow the emotion to flow through. And then it's gone. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. And just to be aware of the emotion, the depth of the emotion. Not the story of the emotion, but the depth of the emotion.
Because so often when you have an emotion, it's followed straight away by the judgmental mind that says, why am I feeling this? I shouldn't be feeling this. I should be feeling that rather. And in so doing, you repress it down, and then it'll come up again. So it's just to be able to feel. Claire says she's been cleaning her home space, which is always cathartic, beautiful thing to do. That's exactly what's needed, I think. It definitely helps. It clears huge energy. Remember, we're energetic. So whatever's in your home state and your home place is connecting with your energy. So doing a clearing, you clear the energy.
You do, yeah.
I remember having a flood once in a storeroom, and the next day we got stuck in and took a whole lot of stuff to the dump. And I tell you what, I felt like I'd had a bath, an energetic bath.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't even in my house, it was in the storeroom, but it needed to leave the house. It was all wet and damaged.
I think an awful lot of us have a lot of stuff that we're holding on to for a rainy day, and in fact it weighs us down, it makes us heavy. And the act of giving away is the act of trust, trusting that your needs are going to be met in the future. You don't have to hold on to yesterday at all. So to give away liberates you from that old past stuck energy and opens your hands and allows the universe to give you the new that's just sitting on the horizon waiting for you. So giving is a good idea at this time. And also, obviously, being just past the new moon, it's a time of planting new seeds, doing things differently.
Exactly.
Yeah, planting new seeds.
Yeah.
And so one of the seeds that we'd like to look at tonight is the image of an open door, an open door. And if you imagine that there's a doorway in front of you, and the doorway has a lot of light on the other side of it, a lot of lightness and a lot of light. And we're sitting maybe in a slightly darker environment where we are. But the door is open. The door is open. Now, what does that image say to you? What does that image mean to you? Would you want to go through that doorway into the light? What do you feel?
Yeah, I think I would.
You would? Why would you want to go into the light?
Well, I definitely like to get the light flowing in, at least, so that I can see. But I think a lot of the time we don't know that the door's open.
Yeah.
We feel like we're trapped and that the door isn't open.
Yeah, it is.
And all you need to do is push the door open.
Yeah. And so in that image we have the aspect of light on the other side. And if you ask yourself, would you rather feel heavy or light? I mean, that's just a good way of looking at it. And obviously we would like to invite more lightness into our life. That analogy of the open door. So the mind, the ego, is actually searching for another time and another place when there will be a doorway into getting its needs met, it thinks. And what we are telling you tonight is that door is here and now. It's open already, and the light is there waiting for you. It can't impose itself upon us. If we want to cling to the shadows, that's our free will and that's our creation. But if we are now ready to step through that doorway, it's wide open, and the invitation is there from life for us to do just that in this moment. What are the reasons that we don't step through that doorway into the light? What do you think they are?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what everyone else said. But I'd say one of the reasons is fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't see the light through the door. So I think a lot of people are feeling that sense of there's an open door, but we can't really see what's behind that door on the other side of it, and so it's the unknown. And I think a lot of people are scared of the unknown. So, what if I open the door and it's going to be worse than where I am now? Maybe it's better just to stay in my so-called comfort zone rather than actually try and open to something unknown and maybe scary.
Yeah. And another thing I'm going to suggest is that the reason we are not seeing that door open and we're not seeing the light on the other side of the door is we're actually looking away from it. we're not looking in the right place for that open door. We're looking generally. Most people are looking into their story. They're looking for their story to actually change so that they can experience the light. Shelley, you have reception, maybe
rejection. She said rejection.
Rejection, right?
That's why.
Maybe stuck in the familiar self. Yes, because we got so acclimatized to knowing ourselves to be the shadow, to being ourselves the thingness, and every thingness exists because of shadow, because of contrast, because of duality, and we stay in that because there's a deep-seated knowing within us that if we were to step through that doorway into the light, then that which we knew ourselves to be, that solidity, that identity, that personality, that ego, would dissolve. Because ego is an aspect of mind and the shadows of the mind, the contrast of the mind, the dualistic nature of the mind, the yin-yang of the mind. And quite often we would rather hold on to the pain and the suffering than risk becoming a no-thingness, which is what the open doorway is actually inviting us to become. Not a thing anymore, but a being. And being is not something that has contrast. It's not something that has boundaries. It doesn't have an identity. It's just beingness, simply. And we did it in the opening meditation. We aligned ourselves more with beingness in the opening meditation. And it's not something to be gained in the future, but it's to be recognized in the here and now, right here, right now, the beingness. And as we honor that, so we start to see, oh, my goodness me, the door is there, the door is open, it's my own beingness. I've been looking outside for the door, but the door is actually here, in my own beingness. I remember someone saying, I've been knocking on the door and knocking on the door, and not realizing that I'm blocking the door because the door opens inwards, and I'm pressed up against it. The door is an inward journey, not an outward journey. And one of the things that really keeps us stuck is, in fact, and this is going to sound a bit weird or a bit harsh, is we're addicted to suffering, and we're addicted to drama, we're addicted to past, we're addicted to future. Now the name of all of that is time. We're addicted to time. And there is a knowing that as we go through the doorway, the one thing we have to drop is that addiction to time. Because light has no time, and being has no time, presence has no time. And are we willing to give up our attachment to time? Are we willing to look outside of time for eternity?
It's much like that elephant analogy when they train elephants and you tie an elephant to a little stick and keep it tied to a stick. Even when the elephant's fully grown, if you put a stick and tie to the stick a little stick, that elephant will not move away because that's its conditioned environment. It doesn't believe that it actually can or should or can move away from it, even though it could just pull it out instantly. So we get so caught, we get so caught up in this man-made, self-made prison of what we perceive ourselves to be, that we're scared to venture out of it, because then who are we? And then there's no limits, and then there's no, as you said, there's no sense of the self that we were and all that we've identified with, because we might be moving to something completely different.
Yeah, because in that sense of self, there's obviously boundaries. I've got boundaries, and I feel safe within my boundaries, but the recognition is that those boundaries are walls, and walls cast shadows, and we're stuck inside a place of contrast when we, in fact, are being invited now to step into a place beyond contrast, beyond boundaries, beyond walls, into a place of light. And are we now ready to surrender our sense of mind-made self and step into our true eternal being? And the world that's on the other side of that doorway is completely different. You know, earlier we watched that little clip of that the caterpillar metamorphosizing into that butterfly. And the world of the caterpillar is so different to that of the butterfly. The caterpillar cannot begin to imagine the world of the butterfly, but it has to trust the process. It has to surrender the old, because it can't take the old caterpillar body into the world of the butterfly. It has to surrender that completely. And the question we have for you tonight is, are you ready to truly give up all that you were so that you can become that and what you really and truly are? That's the invitation.
It's a beautiful invitation. I'm going to say that I think a lot of people would say, but how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you actually physically do that? Because you're in a human form, and you still have to engage with the world, and you still have to do things like pay the rent. And so how do we straddle the barriers between the universal and the human self and the expanded self that has no boundaries? And I think that's where we're at in our process, our ascension process, is we're in that limbo kind of state. We're in that state between, yes, I'm human, but I'm a spirit having a human experience, but I'm still navigating the human world.
Correct, and that's a question which I think a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
How do I do this? How do I do it?
Yeah.
And the answer is very simple. In the doingness does not lie your salvation. You can't do the transformation. Life does it through you. And in order for life to do it through you, you have to surrender to life. Not my will, but thy will be done. So it's rather like the analogy that I've used quite a few times, you've probably heard it before, is if you hold a cork underwater, it takes a lot of efforting, a lot of doingness to keep it down under the surface. As you surrender it, it naturally pops up to its true level, to its true buoyancy, which is out of the water, on top of the water. And that surrendering is not so much a doing, but an opening up, an opening to being. So many people are looking to do awakening, to do the escape. But that means that you are taking the darkness and trying to find your salvation through the darkness. The darkness is the contrasting mind. It's obviously the dualistic mind, and you're trying to, which gets this whole sense of self-identity and fulfillment and salvation in the world of doingness. And we draw that as a horizontal line, the line of doing, the line of suffering, time. And what we're pointing towards, that doorway, is right here, right now, not in the future, it's right here, and it leads us into the vertical plane. Now that doorway has a lovely sign above the doorway, and that sign says surrender. So this entry through the doorway into the light isn't a doing, it's a surrendering process. It's a process of letting go of attachment, letting go of fears and anxieties, letting go of false senses of perception. That's what this process is. Now there's an energy at this time, and maybe some of you are experiencing it, that's pushing us towards this doorway. And that energy that pushes us to the doorway is labeled suffering. Suffering pushes us to the doorway, and then we surrender, and then we are able to transcend. But suffering is optional. We can surrender without the need for suffering. But quite often people are so attached to their stories, their identities, their pasts, and their projected futures that they're not willing to let go until the pain of holding on gets so excessive that eventually they say, I give up. And that's when the natural buoyancy of our being goes back to reunite with the light that we already are.
It's really, for me, to simplify it for myself, it's an opening. So it's not something that you're not now giving up, you're just opening. So you're opening to what is. And as you open to what is, the identification with what isn't starts to dissolve. So when we're completely identified, yes, we're human, but when we're completely identified with just being human, and we identified with just our mind, then we're stuck inside and we can't even see the door. When we know that we're more than that, and we're able to actually just completely embrace this, whatever it is, without resistance, that's where the suffering ends, and that's where the opening happens, and that's where the expansion happens. So for me, it's a case of, am I opening in any one moment, or am I closing? So closing is resisting. I'm resisting this. It shouldn't happen. And that's okay. I notice. So the awareness is to notice. I'm resisting. I'm closing. I have an opportunity right now, not tomorrow, next day, or when everything comes right in the world, to open right now to this. So it doesn't mean you say yes to everything, but you're open to it. You say, yes, this is happening. And yes, this emotion's flowing through me. Yes, I can feel these thoughts that are going through my mind. Yes, this situation is happening in my life. I accept it. I acknowledge it. And I surrender to the fact that it's happening. And I move through whatever I need to move through it in that awareness, as opposed to the separated awareness of it shouldn't be happening, which then closes us inside that door. I don't know if that helps, but that's for me. It's opening and closing.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, for the human doing part of us, the part that we are so attached to, the human identity, it looks to the doing part. So it would look to find the door handle and then try and open the door, because in its mind it is a doingness. But what we are saying tonight is the door is already open. You don't have to do anything. Just recognize who and what you really are. Recognize that you are the light that you seek. You are that which is beyond the doorway. It is already you. And that collapses the distance between where you think you are and where you are. And that collapsing can be called love. Suddenly you reunite with your true essence of being. And that is that transition from the old world to the new world. And we mentioned earlier that this is a time of, we've just gone through the new moon, and obviously this is a time for planting seeds. So let's just look at that analogy of the seed. The seed is in a dark place. And for humans, when they're in a dark place, they contract, they hold, they tighten, they become harder. Imagine if the seed did that. It wouldn't sprout. So what does the seed do? The seed opens, it softens and opens and allows life to transform it, to change it. It's not clinging onto its old identity. I'm a seed, and what's this trying to happen through me, and I'm going to resist this change.
It's going to be a seed.
Yeah. And for the seed to become that beautiful, beautiful potential that is within it, it has to soften, it has to open, and it has to allow. And I believe that's our journey right now, to do exactly that, to open, to soften, and to allow. This is not a time of doing, it's a time of stepping back into the true, authentic space, to honor space more than the somethingness, and allow life to move through this space and to initiate a process of miraculous transformation.
Yeah, I believe that it's the opening, the softening, and the allowing, absolutely. We still have to do things. You're not going to just sit and expect it all to get done. So you do things, but you're not trying to break through and move into another dimension of consciousness through the doing. So you still do things. You still get up and you
clean your teeth,
do what you need to
wash
do.
your face.
You don't sit back, because I think a lot of people get confused with that. Well, what must I do? Must I just do nothing now? No, you're just not attached as you were to the doingness, because most of us are attached to and identified with our human doingness. So I am a accountant, teacher, mother, daughter, husband, and this is what I do. That's what people ask you when they meet you. What do you do? That's what most people ask you. What do you do? They don't say, who are you being? They ask you what you do. So then you give them a litany of a whole list of things that you do. So it's the identification with the doing that we're actually releasing the hold of. And so we're opening to the more expansive part of ourselves, which is the being. And that's what fuels the doing anyway. So that's the way I see it. It's a little bit. So you're not just becoming a non-doing human.
Well, you know what you said in the beginning there, that this is what the mind does. It says that then must I do nothing? And the answer is, well, doing nothing is once again the mind. I'm now doing nothing. So it's another doingness. And what we're suggesting here is, no, this is not a doing nothing. It's not a doing something. It's a being. So you allow beingness. The seed is being, and life is doing that. The Tao, in the Tao Te Ching, it says the Tao does nothing and leaves nothing undone. And that is the field of the miraculous. That's the new possibility for us. So the doing that we have, you can't do enlightenment. It's to recognize that no amount of doing will take you to enlightenment. No amount of meditating from a doing point of view, no amount of doing good deeds will take you into enlightenment. And the good book says something along those lines as well. No amount of doing, you can't do your own salvation. You can't. But the more you align to the vertical plane, the more you allow life to live through you, and your doingness becomes an expression of your joy rather than a means to get somewhere and get something. The doing becomes a flowering of your consciousness rather than a striving for an identification or a subsistence in the world of things. It's a very different way, very different way.
Yeah, I was going to say there just before you said that I think a lot of people think that, okay, if I'm doing all this, so if I'm meditating enough, if I'm surrendering enough, if I'm being enough, then this situation is going to resolve itself the way my ego wants it to resolve itself. And then if it doesn't, so 5 days later you're still sitting in the same situation, well then it's not working. But that's not why we're actually being. That's not why we're actually on this journey. So it's not a journey with a destination. You're not opening up your beingness so that you can achieve more, whatever.
You can achieve enlightenment.
Or achieve something specific in the outside world. Mm-hmm. Because then it's just another trajectory of doingness and achievement. So this is me, this is my being, this is what I'm doing in this moment, this is who I'm being in this moment. In this moment, in my being, this is what's going on. I have a choice. I can open, I can close. I can stay, I can go. I can be, I can do. We have the choice. And this is a choice point that we're in our humanity.
Yeah. And one of the things people ask me, but if I don't plan, then nothing will happen. And well, life will happen whether you plan or not. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. But you can plan. You can enjoy using your mind to plan for future, but you don't look to it to bring you anything of any more value than what is already here in this moment. That is the truth. The door is already open here in this moment for you to enter through it. Don't look for any amount of planning or doing to lead you to that door. It's here already. So yes, use your mind to plan, but just recognize that the destination that you're looking for is already here. And use the planning as an enjoyment of the expression of this moment. So you're planning with joy in this moment, not for an outcome, but for the very experience of planning in this moment. And then you're adding your beingness into your doingness, and your doingness changes completely in the way it unfolds as you do that, as you bring the beingness as your destination into your doingness, which is just a means of experiencing this dimension that we are currently in at the moment. It's to always make being more important than your doing. Make doing secondary and being primary, because that is the surrendering which allows you to let go, and then your natural buoyancy takes you through that door into the light.
And then if we're making the being more important, we are opening the door to beauty. We are opening the door to love. We're opening the door to connection, because we're we're here, we're present. So we are truly connected with the person sitting in front of us, with the situation unfolding in front of us, with the sunset, with the flower, with the cup of tea that you're drinking. You are fully engaged in the experience of this journey, which is what you're here for. There's nowhere to go. So what if this is it? This is it now, right now. What if there's nothing else, just this? I once had a sign outside my house saying, "This is it."
Yeah,
and I didn't realize how profound it was then.
Yeah.
It was about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So if this is it, then how am I navigating this?
Yeah.
How am I embracing this? Am I opening to this? Am I seeing this as this step that I'm taking right now in my evolutionary journey? Never mind the journey of the human, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And if we see it as every single thing that happens is for our soul's growth, then it also changes things. So then the victimhood goes away. This is happening because it's supposed to be happening, because it is. It's happening. So therefore it should be happening.
No.
Therefore it's not a mistake that it's happening. Therefore there's no one to blame that it's happening. So therefore I can open to the fact that this is happening, even if it's a challenge. It's not easy for the human, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And those are the people who are able to do that, are the people who are able to navigate their way through huge crises. And where a lot of people will say when they get a terminal illness that their lives change completely. Why? Because this is it. They only have this moment. And
Yes.
they get that on another level.
They start paying
when
more
they have-
attention to
they-
the isness of life rather
Yeah.
than some future outcome. You start
Anxiety goes away about the future.
you start to make what you're doing now as a destination. This is what you're
That's
doing.
the
This is my destination. I'm not doing this moment so I can get anywhere else. This is my destination. My destination is in my beingness that I'm bringing into whatever I'm doing in this moment. Rather than what the mind does, it always makes the situation, circumstances that I'm in as a means to get to some other future time. And the true depth of life is not to be found in time, but to be found in presence. So again, it's that horizontal plane of time, of drama, of suffering, of pain, and we step into alignment with life, which is always here and always now. We start to make this our destination rather than some imagined destination in the future. And that doorway into this plane is always open. It's here. The invitation is there for you to surrender to the isness of life in this moment. That's the invitation to come back home to who and what you really are, which is a human being.
So on that subject, we are starting another Journey to Freedom workshop, an online workshop, on the 18th of July. And what's our theme? Finding new purpose.
Finding new
For the
purpose
first
is the
week.
first week.
First week is free. You can travel with us free for the first week. Doesn't matter how many times you've been with us, you can travel free. If you've done the journey with us before and you feel like you need a bit of a shine up and an update, you're welcome to join us for half price. And if you haven't done it with us before, then join us for the first week and see if it resonates with you.
Yeah, so it's a 13-week journey, 13 different modules to remove that which is holding us stuck down in the depth when we're meant to float up and be more buoyant and with the light. So that's this journey, the journey to freedom, the journey to liberation. 18th of July. And the details are where?
On our website, journeysofawakening.com. It is amazing when you start to live more and more in presence how synchro destiny happens and people start to appear without any seeming effort. And the sort of magic of life can flow through if you're open. If you're closed, you kind of block the flow. Try and control it too much.
Yeah.
So that's what our journey is about. Are you going to, these are the cards, you're going to put a card?
I'm going to pick a green one tonight. A green one.
Okay.
There's the beautiful key for that,
That's
that
lovely.
door. Yeah, lovely.
Okay, so I'm going to lead you out just in a short meditation. So I'm going to lean forward a bit because my voice goes soft. Alright, so just settle in. Get yourselves comfy wherever you are. And take a beautiful deep breath in. And then a releasing, relaxing breath out. Pull the breath out. And the next breath in, breathe in through the nose for 4 counts. And then breathe out through the mouth, blow it out through the mouth for 6 counts. Let's try that again. Breathing in for 4, all the way in. Hold for a second, then blow out through your mouth. Let all that breath go. Let it all out this time, all of it. And a third time. In, 4 counts. And then out through the mouth, blowing out through the mouth like a straw, all the way out. And as you're doing that, you're dropping your shoulders and you're opening. Now just notice the breath. Breath is an anchor. If the world gets too fast, too scary, you can always bring yourself back just by a few conscious breaths. Just noticing the breath as it comes in and goes out. And knowing that it's life breathing you. You're not even doing it. And that there's great trust that there will be another breath at the end of each out-breath. There's a knowingness. With each out-breath, allow yourself to soften. Allow your shoulders to go back just a little bit so that your heart is able to actually open, the heart space. And allow a wave of softness to just move through you from your head all the way down through your neck, into your shoulders, into your spine, into your torso, into all your organs, into your hips and pelvis, into your legs and into your feet. Just letting go of any tightness, any resistance, any holding. Allowing yourself to really tune in with your body. If you find any part of your body that is feeling uncomfortable, gently breathe into that part of the body and release and soften. Allowing yourself to open to this moment, to whatever is arising in this moment. If a discomfort arises, breathe and allow it to be as it is, without attaching to it. And breathe it out. If a thought arises, just allow it to pass on by like a cloud, without investing in the thought, without attaching to the thought. You're just noticing the thought. There's a thought. If a feeling arises, notice it. Just notice it and allow it to be there. With each out-breath, dropping into an expanded state of consciousness and allowing, accepting, opening state of consciousness. We were opening our channel to divine energy to flow right through us. Each time we do this, we are resetting ourselves, reconnecting, plugging ourselves in to Source. Like a recharge point. listening to the sounds that you can hear in this moment. With also no attachment, just listening. Coming closer and hearing the sound of your own breathing. Our affirmation for the evening is, I honor and love the divine in me. So take a deep breath. I'm going to repeat the words and just really let those words sink in. I honor and love the divine in me. When we connect in this way, we are honoring and loving the divine within us. We're allowing it to expand within us. So connecting with your heart and imagining right there in the middle of the heart a little seed. What would you like to plant? What intention would you like to put inside that seed for the next month? So with your intention, place a tiny little spark of life, spark of intention inside that seed. And allow it to start to soften. Allow that seed to start to soften and to start to grow into a beautiful, beautiful flower. Multi-petaled, multi-layered, multi-colored, if you like, flower. And let that flower grow bigger and bigger in your heart center. Till it's filled you up. And feed that flower with gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for where you are right now, in your home, in a building, safe, warm. Gratitude for the people in your life. Immense gratitude for the food in your tummy, for your consciousness, for your connections, for your connection to the divine, and for this journey, this soul's journey that you are so bravely moving through. Honor that. I honor and love the divine in me. Now take a deep breath in and an out breath. Rub your hands together, your fingers together, and when you're ready you can gently start to open your eyes.
Wasn't that lovely? Beautiful way to start the new week, centered. I honor and love the divine in me. How beautiful is that? Keep that affirmation for the week ahead. There was a teacher 2,000 years ago that said, I am the life. I am the life. The life is the divine. And guess what? It's here, right here in our hearts. Bless you all. Thank you for being with us this evening, and we look forward to catching up with you in 2 weeks' time on the Satsang. But those on our inner space group, well, we meet with you on Tuesday night. Thank you all. Beautiful. Have a lovely week.
Lots of love.
Thank you.